Oh, there it is. Hey, guys. I am starting live early, as usual, because it is Sunday, and Joel is here, I'm here, and you guys are here, so in appreciation of your time, my time, Joel's time, we're going live. We're doing it live. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the news because I don't want to get into my topic. It is Sunday, September 22nd, 2019, 6 minutes to 9, and Pacific time, right? And we're going to be having church today. It's always excellent. But I heard that Joe Biden is in hot water, and I heard that President Trump is supposedly in hot water too. And they can't really make up their mind which one should be in hot water or something like that. I haven't kept up with that aspect of the news. I read one little article or parts, skimmed it, seeing that Rudy Giuliani, who's Trump's personal lawyer or something like that. And I will get to your calls. Hang tight. We will get to them, but I'm not going to get to them until this hour kicks in, okay? So hang on, callers. Appreciate you guys calling in already. But I heard that Rudy Giuliani was like, no, I didn't tell the Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. The only thing I mentioned about Joe Biden was something. So then he kind of did, but he wasn't really the focus and stuff like that. So I heard that Joe Biden has been like pushing for special treatment for his son Hunter or something like that. That's the rumor. You guys can confirm or clarify. But they were trying to go after President Trump over, they're going after him for anything, really. Jerry Nadler is a congressman who's Trump used to know him as Fat Jerry, but I think he got a lap band or something. He lost a bunch of weight. But Fat Jerry Nadler has been going after Trump to investigate him and impeach him and stuff like that. And all these Democrats, including Beto O'Rourke, think that Trump should be impeached. And it's ridiculous. I see them as just making up anything that sounds like it could make sense in a theoretical world of imagine if Trump was actually evil and not a good person, then maybe he did this. So they launched an investigation and impeachment hearings, so-called. So that's my take on what they're doing. But I heard that, like I said, that Joe Biden pushed for and the Ukraine and all that madness. I don't know. Who knows? But I remember a headline in 2014, Hunter Biden, he might have gotten kicked out of the Navy Reserves over cocaine. October 16th, 2014. His family is a mess. Remember Joe Biden, I showed you his teeth kind of falling out. And he is kind of old, but these people shouldn't be running. Joe Biden shouldn't be running for office. He should be retiring. What's that guy's name? Bernie Sanders should not be running for office. He should be retiring. Actually, none of these Democrats should be running. They're all a mess. They're all lame. So the title of my show is going to be Miserable Liberals from today, the 22nd of September. And shout out to Facebook, D Live, Periscope, Mixer, Twitch, and I think that's all. Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, D Live, Mixer, and Twitch. 6 platforms. Jesse's also streaming on 6 platforms today for his church, but the radio show is a little bit more censored on certain platforms because they believe in hate speech. They don't believe in free speech or truth. Especially they don't believe in truth because you say something true, it sounds hateful. And I'm going to try to open my treasure chest today for the people on D Live. Thank you guys for the constant support. It's cool. And I am on Twitch. That's so fun. And I am on Mixer, which is a wannabe Twitch, basically. It's a Microsoft-owned platform. And then I'm just going to check my Facebook because I'm supposed to be streaming on Facebook too, which is known to be very pro-censorship. Mark Zuckerberg was up at the Capitol Hill getting grilled, And I don't like these politicians getting involved either. They come up with false solutions. They're not for what's right either. Yes, we are on Facebook. Thank you guys for joining. Shout out to Calvin Allison. Hey, thank you. So, what else? Oh, Mark Zuckerberg. He met with Trump in the Oval Office, and he said that it was, or his spokesman said that it was productive. Trump tweeted about it, and that's nice. And also, people are going crazy about Justin Trudeau doing the blackface, so-called. And they're calling it modern day minstrelsy. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to talk about that. And they're going after the good guys, too. They're going after Jerry Falwell Jr., who's a good guy. They've gone after Franklin Graham, who's a decent guy. They're going after Trump hard because he's a good guy. They went after Joe Arpaio because he's a good guy. They go after Jesse Lee Peterson because he's a good guy. So they go after anybody good, and they also go after people that are like, mediocre, but not liberal. They push that big time, because then if they go after those guys, then the people that are more totally for good look like they're extreme. And you'll notice that. And I'm going to get to this thing about liberals being miserable. You saw Alyssa Milano acting out with Ted Cruz pushing gun control. Total hypocrite. She's pro-abortion. But I'm going to get to this thing. Did you know that we have a Discord? Jesse Lee Peterson has a Discord. Get on the Discord. Jimmy DM sent me, shout out, big D Live supporter, sent me a tip on this Democrat congressman a couple of weeks back, who his wife is all into this Obamacare and mental health is health care, mental health care is health care, and marriage counseling. And then you see her baby, and it is so sad because her baby has to put up with her, and her husband's not controlling her, apparently. I don't know, maybe, yeah, I don't know. This guy, this Democrat, ran as an anti-Nancy Pelosi person, and I'm not sure exactly what that means, because that could be a semi-positive thing. They go after Uncle A because he's a good guy? Oh, who's that? I forgot that I logged in as that. Anyways, all these investigations, and these Christian groups are so corrupt. Anyways, let me get started with the real full-on actual show, and I'll get to your calls. Appreciate that. And here we go.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Shout out to AJ Gallardo for the original rendition of the Hake Report song. Thank you. And this is Representative Joe Cunningham, whose wife is apparently nuts, and they're pushing mental health is health, and it's not. It's a mess. They push lack of realness.
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
And by the way, you can get the podcast audio recordings of these things. Say you don't want to stream and use your data. Some people use their data to watch the videos, and that eats up a lot of data, videos do. Say you don't want to waste all your data on watching the show. Just podcast it, audio podcast. Audio recordings don't take up as much data. So you can podcast my show, Jesse's show, The Fallen State, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, on Apple, TuneIn. Well, I don't know about all those platforms for The Fallen State. I know The Fallen State is on Apple Podcasts. But the rest of these shows are on Apple, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, and for my show and for the highlights of Jesse's show, you know, the old episodes and interviews, are also on SoundCloud. So that's cool. You can check mine out at thehakereport.com/podcasts. The Jesse Lee Peterson Show, jlptalk.com, and then click on listen, and you go to the podcast section. Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, rebuildingtheman.com/church, and you scroll down, you'll see the different podcast platforms linked there. And you can just search them too in your favorite podcast platform. Podcast just means listening to the audio recording after the fact. All right? And so you guys have been on hold a while, but I just want to quickly talk about how they're going after the good guys. Jerry Falwell Jr., I recommend you stand by him. So Jerry Falwell Jr. is the current president of Liberty University, I believe. And he took over in 2007 after his father died, maybe, or something. Jerry Falwell, the original. And Jerry Falwell is somebody that I don't know much about, but he was a Christian guy. Tough in the fight, the culture war, so-called. And I've heard Jesse speak well of him, so he's a good guy. And Jerry Falwell Jr. seems to be a decent guy, too. And he was pro-Trump, outspoken. And I think that at one point he suggested that it was anti-Christian not to support Trump, which is true. And so I have this ridiculous NBC article that I'm going to show things from, little excerpts from. Some Christian group, left of center, and I'm putting those in air quotes, is going after him. And of course, so are the liberals. Look, NBC News and some of the media, including one of the media outlets, by the way, that went after what's his name, Epstein. So, just a little side note, because you don't side with these people, ever. So, NBC News headline, Christian activist group, should be in quotes, right, demands criminal probe of Jerry Falwell Jr. And to me, this sounds like just such a troll, right? By a troll, I mean they don't actually believe that that he committed any crimes. They're just trying to accuse him of what he accused others of doing. So this headline goes under the subhead, the Liberty University president has hijacked the gospel to enrich himself. So contends this so-called Christian activist group, Faithful America. Faithful America is the name of this far-left liberal activist group that pretends to be Christian. It's not. And I'll tell you which denomination it is, just because for those of you who are into denominations, you may notice a pattern amongst some of the denominations, right? I guess they're all corrupt. Most Christians in general just aren't really living it, right? So this article came out the 19th this week by Corky Siamazko. And he says, an activist Christian group has launched a petition, right? They always push democracy. Petition, the mob. Let's get the mob after them. So they launched these petitions, and all the useful idiots sign them, right? Of which there are many. Virginia want the Virginia Attorney General's office, because the Liberty University is located in Virginia, and the IRS to open criminal investigations into Liberty University President Jerry Falwell Jr. So far, Faithful America has collected 10,875 signatures and hopes to reach their goal of 15,000 by this weekend. Who knows if they did? Maybe. Who cares? And this is the Reverend Nathan Empsall, who's the campaigns director of this organization. The response has been great so far, but that shouldn't come as a surprise given how fed up so many Christians, so-called, are, with the way that Falwell and others have hijacked the gospel to represent their hypocritical own self-interests rather than Christ's teachings of love and justice. And anytime you hear a liberal mention justice, you know that it's fake. You know they're not about actual justice. They're talking social justice, which is not justice, as Evan says. And the drive comes in the wake of exposés, meaning hit pieces, by Politico, which is a far-left outlet, and the Miami Herald and other news outlets. The Miami Herald being, I became conscious of the Miami Herald as being like doing this type of stuff when they did the Epstein piece, and they were all sympathetic to Virginia Giuffre Roberts, whatever her name is. Giuffre Roberts. Virginia Roberts Giuffre, the runaway who didn't take responsibility for her actions in what she claims to have done, is she supposedly groomed girls for prostitution. That's what she claims. She claims that she did that. And then she makes other accusations against a man who has now committed suicide or died or something. So anyways, back to this story. They have accused Falwell of using influential and ultra-conservative Christian college, that's how they describe this Liberty University, to enrich himself and his cronies. And so I underline the word cronies because NBC News, this is Corky, whatever his name is, some name, and he calls them cronies. Interesting, huh? Like they're sympathetic to this. I think of him, he must be an MSNBC contributor or something. MSNBC being like not even pretending to be objective, but he is still pretending to be objective. Senior writer at NBC News Digital. Because it's very like unprofessional how he's writing. Ultra-conservative Christian college. It's just a Christian college. It's not particularly conservative. Although Falwell's decent. And then I blocked off in this second screenshot, or third screenshot, I blocked off some nasty paragraph, dirty, gossipy accusations that I'm not going to promote about Falwell. Basically just rumors, right? And so in response, Falwell earlier this month asked the FBI to investigate a supposed criminal conspiracy against him by the former board members of the Christian school whom he blames, should be whom, Corky, he blames for the spate of negative stories. And yeah, he claims that the FBI is going to, or he asked the FBI to, right? And like they got a hold of emails or something like that. And that is a shady thing to do. If you are, all these leakers that are leaking on President Trump and leaking apparently on Falwell, that's a very trashy thing to do. You shouldn't trust somebody like that, right? Jesse makes that point, and it's true. So this guy Empsall, who is also a priest associate, here's the the denomination, Episcopal Church. That's how you know that it's not Christian, right? Episcopal Church might at one point have been Christian. I don't know. But today, they're just liberals, social justice warriors. Of St. Paul and St. James in New Haven, Connecticut. What's up with New England being so far ridiculous? Faithful America has been critical of Falwell before when he's made, for example, anti-Islamic statements. Why would a Christian group be concerned about anti-Islamic statements? Christians are supposed to be anti-Islamic. They're supposed to be for Christianity. So this guy, he goes on, the difference is now we're calling for a criminal investigation, not because we have any evidence, but because of these snowball of stories. Basically, a whole bunch of liberal outlets, so-called news outlets, have been doing hit pieces, spreading rumors. And so they're joining in on the, let's all stone this man because of rumors. We've always known this guy is an extremist and a hypocrite, and he should face social consequences for that. This is the first time we're calling for legal consequences. And then this guy Empsall, he goes, I'm not going to say Jerry Falwell is not a Christian, but his behavior is not Christian. So this guy, Reverend Nathan Empsall, I'm going to say that he's not a Christian. He's a liberal. He's not going to say that Jerry Falwell is not a Christian, but I'm going to say he's not a Christian. So Faithful America, here's the background on Faithful America, according to NBC News, is a left-of-center group that was founded in 2004 and affiliated with the National Council of Churches of Christ, meaning wolves in sheep's clothing, liberals. Previously, it launched a petition demanding the resignation of Franklin Graham from the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association for preaching hatred and Trumpism. You can't preach in favor of Trump and preach hatred. Well, I guess some people can. Urging another publisher, HarperCollins, to drop Focus on the Family founder James Dobson for his discrimination against women, immigrants, and the LGBT community. So they're, like I said, they're going after the good guys. Franklin Graham, decent guy. James Dobson, decent guy. And Jerry Falwell Jr., decent guy. They also condemned former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee for calling President Barack Obama's presidency anti-Christian, which it was, and pressured MSNBC to stop inviting Family Research Council President Tony Perkins to appear on its programs as a Christian spokesman. All these guys are decent to semi-decent guys, and the stuff that they're criticizing them for are for standing for basically what's right. Huckabee was right, Mike Huckabee, about Obama's presidency being very anti-Christian. And then Family Research Council President Tony Perkins, generally a right guy, to appear on its programs as a Christian spokesman. NBC Universal is the parent company of NBC, which also the parent company of this NBC News. Just a side note. And so there's this Catholic diocese or Catholic whatever group, probably on the more conservative side, that these people also went after, these trash people, the Faithful America, whatever. And so this guy hits back. This Newark Archdiocese spokesman, James Goodness, questioned the veracity of another bunch of, all these, they go after these petitions. Rather than make a statement of authority on this person is wrong because of this, no, we need to get a whole bunch of demonic minions to sign petitions to take you down. And then it looks intimidating, and then the corporate sponsors will stop supporting you because you see so many signatures. So anyways, this guy points out that this guy, Faithful America, this group, has been supported financially over the years by the prominent atheist George Soros. Soros, a billionaire, show this one. Soros, a billionaire philanthropist who hails from a Hungarian Jewish family, is a favorite boogeyman. This is literally how this guy is writing. Favorite boogeyman for right-wingers because he is a well-known supporter of progressive and liberal causes. But he's not a boogeyman. They actually call him a bogeyman. It's boogeyman. B-O-O-G-E-Y. I'm pretty sure. But he spelled it bogeyman. So, but that kind of indicates that it's not real. Boogeyman means it's not real. But this is real in this case. Faithful America was affiliated with Citizen Engagement Lab, which has received donations from Soros's Open Society Foundations, according to the Influence Watch website. So it's not a boogeyman thing. MSale said that May 2018, Faithful America has been since May of 2018, like a year, they've been an independent 501c4 incorporated in our own right with no fiscal sponsor. That's right, because you guys got your boost already for years. You were founded in 2004. Anyways, that's just showing you guys how the activist liberal media is joining forces with the activist liberal Christians to go after the good guys. Don't fall for it. If Jerry Falwell Jr. did anything inappropriate, he can handle it himself. He doesn't need the liberals calling him out. He doesn't need the conservatives joining forces with the liberals to call him out. Don't join with them. And these Trump investigations, like I said, they're going after, Nadler and the rest. They just basically, it's make up anything and call it a good excuse to start an investigation and impeachment. They've been you've seen them doing it. They haven't come up with anything. It's kind of like what they accused the conservatives of doing with Obama, because a lot of the conservatives were investigating Obama, but they weren't going to do anything either. The conservatives, so-called conservatives, who were investigating Obama about Fast and Furious, Benghazi, all those other things, IRS targeting conservatives and discriminating against conservatives and auditing them, Tea Party groups, and all these trash things that Obama was doing. Not one, a whole bunch of maybe investigations, but nothing came from it. And so that's why Obama said, "Oh, I've gone scandal-free," because he didn't get called out for anything, because he's black, liberal, and they're kiss-ups, both the conservatives and the liberals in the government. And I call them conservatives. I'm using that term loosely. We know, according to the biblical question of several weeks back, that a conservative is a person who has no anger and a liberal is somebody who has anger. So any of us that think that we're not liberals, but we're mad at the liberals, we're liberals. And I'm going to get to that in a second. but let me get to some calls. Let's see. Josh out of Georgia. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing well, James. How you doing, man?
Doing fine. Nice to hear from you.
Yes, yeah, thanks. I'm a big supporter of the show and
Thank you.
Bond and Jesse and everything. And I just wanted to ask you about. I'm thinking about. I may even move closer to Bond, closer to LA, just to be closer to the community there. And I say the only thing that's stopping me is just the firearm laws. And I'm in Georgia, by the way.
Yeah.
Out here with Skip McBurney and Sion, and I don't know if you know the Georgia fans, but
right on. I recommend. I recommend, unless you have a job out here that lined up and stuff like that, bloom where you're planted. That's just my recommendation. Bloom where you're planted being like a liberal term for like, don't run away to some place just because the grass looks greener.
Right. Yeah, that does make sense. And I mean, the thing is,
but do what you want, of course, as Jesse says. What's that?
Right.
Yeah.
I said, like, the firearm laws are the only thing that scares me in California. Like, I'm in Georgia, we can.
Oh, there's a lot more to be. There's a lot. I'm half joking when I say this, but there's a lot more to be scared of than just firearm laws. Yes, you are right. The firearm laws are ridiculous in California. Right. The People's Republic.
Can you own an AR there?
What?
Can you own an AR in California?
I believe so, but they have all these rules. Like you have to have certain, like they've made different laws that contradict each other in the matter of just a few years. So at one point you couldn't have this bullet button, or no, you had to have a bullet button or something like that. Like something where you had to have this thing where you couldn't easily disengage the magazine or whatever it's called. The clip.
Yeah, like a safety or something. Okay.
Yeah. No, you couldn't easily detach the
mag.
Yeah, the magazine, the clip.
Wow.
100-round clip.
Okay. right. Because I got a 40-round magazine, in Georgia, and they sell them at Academy. They sell them everywhere like it's nothing, So that's.
Yeah.
I think Nevada is more gun-friendly, though, right?
The reason that I mentioned that there's more to be scared of, there's like a homelessness crisis. I heard a rumor, and I think it's true, that one guy lost a leg, a street preacher guy, I think, lost a leg. You guys can Google this and confirm it. I don't know that it's true, but I heard a rumor. Over catching flesh-eating disease from helping these people. So there's like all kinds of nastiness going on. And if you're from Georgia, there's necessarily, there's plenty of evil to fight in Georgia,
Yeah. Stacey
and nowadays we have the internet, and we can support each other all over.
That way.
Yeah. But of course, if you want to, it would be awesome to meet you. But don't bring that 40-round mag.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it's illegal. I know, and because if I ever get married, I'll probably pay Jesse to do it. I'll probably get it done at the church. Nice. Because I listen. I'm a member of Bond. Like I listen to you guys all the time, man. So I just want to support.
Cool. Yeah, the firearm laws are a mess, though. You're so right, and maybe we will have an awakening in California. Yeah. A lot of people are, to be honest. A lot of people. Right. So that is a good thing. I appreciate it, Josh. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the support, too.
You too. Thanks, buddy.
All right. German out of Massachusetts. How are you doing, German?
Hey, good morning, man. Good morning to you in Cali.
Thank you. You too.
I'm doing quite well, thank goodness.
Good. I guess it's good. I guess it's good afternoon in Massachusetts.
Yeah, man. 12 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Good. So I just wanted to. I'm just gonna go for it. I wanted to say two jokes about Justin Trudeau.
Okay.
Is that all right? All right. First one. Breaking news out of. I'm going with the breaking news thing. Breaking news out of Canada. Justin Trudeau likes watermelon and big black behinds.
Very nice.
All right, and the second one.
He's all laughing at his
Justin
own joke. I
Trudeau
like that.
is white on the outside and black on the inside.
Nice. Yeah. Aren't we
man.
all? That's nice. I appreciate that. I especially like how you're laughing. How like you're laughing in advance of the joke, in the middle of your joke, and after your joke. That's cool. I
It's
do
hard
the
to
same
keep
thing.
it together with this stuff,
Yeah.
man. It keeps coming. We got to prepare for more because it's getting quite ridiculous, and you got to have fun with it, you know?
I totally agree. And this whole blackface thing is a joke. So is racism. If I was gonna make the point later in the show that if I say the N-word,
Right.
it's either a joke, you should either laugh, or it just makes me look dumb, right? Because generally, like, if I call you the N-word, then I look dumb. I look like the jerk, right? And if you call me racist, then it makes you look dumb, because we all know that racism is a joke.
That's right.
So I call you the N-word, I look dumb. You call me racist, you look dumb. But the way that the world sees it, I look dumb both ways. Because they take it seriously. Oh, James is racist and stuff like that. We should bring back some shamelessness about things that aren't shameful, right? And fun, because these people are no fun. And that's all Justin Trudeau was doing. He was just having fun. And,
exactly.
But he gets what he deserves. He's a kiss up, and he's been apologizing all over himself. It's embarrassing.
That's what I'm saying. I bet you he wasn't complaining when he took some pictures when he was on that party. I bet you probably got laid that night. Who knows?
Who knows, man? Yeah. So Justin Trudeau, for those who don't know,
real black that day.
Inappropriate. So Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister, right? Prime Minister of Canada, Liberal. Yeah. His party is actually called the Liberal Party. And he's basically socialist, pro, he's kind of like an Obama, but he's a kiss up. He's a proud feminist along with his wife, raising his daughters to be feminists. And I'm going to get to this story. They have this hit piece about him. Yeah. It's actually a hit piece about him and whites. Yeah, it's pathetic, man.
You know what I'm saying? Poor little guy. He got to apologize. Well, who knows?
It's his fault. Thank you, German. Nice to hear from you, man.
You too, man. One more time. Trump 2020.
Oh, yes.
And no, the Dems going to lose.
Oh, the Dems going to lose. That's right. All right, take care.
Thanks, Hake, man. I love all y'all, man. God bless you.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Bye. I'm told that some people do say bogey instead of boogie. Boogeyman, bogeyman. Yeah. This article writer. Ridiculous. He Jewish. No, I don't know. Anyways, let me before I get to the Trudeau article and more calls, I do have one of my favorite callers, if not my favorite caller, the favorite, on hold. Let me just quickly run through this. Liberals are miserable, as are most so-called conservatives, because most so-called conservatives are actually liberals, because we have anger. Speaking of mentally ill, which is to say spiritually dead people, I was sent this a couple weeks ago by Jimmy DM on Jesse's Discord. Did you know Jesse has a Discord? Check it out. I think I have the link in the description of the YouTube, description of this video. So here's a clip from the Free Beacon writer Brent Scher on Twitter. Democrat Congressman Joe Cunningham's wife posted an Instagram video, outraged that Obamacare doesn't cover therapy, and by therapy they mean mental health counseling, and marriage counseling. And so here she is. She's gonna rant about this, and you're gonna hear these. You're gonna hear these slaps that come in really loud. Don't be distracted by that. That's in the video. And you're going to see, I think, who the suspected source of those slaps. And it's going to be so sad at the end of this video. Watch this.
Okay, so like I was saying, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant here on social media because I think this is important. I've just been going over this is not a bill from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and realizing that, once again, all of my mental health therapy sessions are denied, in addition to all of our marriage counseling sessions. And it's just mind-blowing to me that these basic, well-known needs, that mental health is healthcare, are still being denied, that we're still fighting for these absolutely basic things. It's unbelievable to me. So I'm reaching out to my congressman, yes, also my husband, but saying like, hey, what can we do about this? Like, let's go to the House floor, let's write a bill, I don't know what you do, but let's do it, because this is ridiculous. This affects us, our family, and it affects everyone else who's seeking mental health and needs support doing so. I'm just flabbergasted. Boone, thoughts?
Isn't that shocking? That poor baby. So I think that baby was making the slap sounds. And this woman, kind of pretty, but she is nuts and evil, and her husband is too, for being with her. Being dumb enough to make a baby with her. I don't know. They married at least, but so let me tell you some details. Joe Cunningham, protect your baby. Look at that. That's Joe Cunningham. That's the congressman. He looks all young and energetic. Let's see what he looks like in a few decades, or a decade or two. But that's sad that this woman is talking about mental health is healthcare. That's liberal brainwashing. They're like millennials. These are, apparently. She looks like a millennial, and I think he does too. So she said, mental health, such and such, is healthcare. It's basic, and it should be covered free. And that's Obamacare, by the way. Her taxpayers subsidize Obamacare. And I think that, don't the congressmen get special treatment? They get all, they opted out of Obamacare, I thought. But I don't know if that's kicked in for them. Maybe he's new. I think he is new. So this is my take. Even though psychology, by the way, is not a science, so how can mental health, so-called care, be health care? Because health care is like medical, and medical has to do with science, observable, you can see what's going on, and you address it. That's not what mental health care is. Psychology, counseling, and all that stuff. Psychology is not a science. It's fake. The communists, I've heard this before, and I think I've seen it in like the Communist Manifesto or something like that. They moved from people relying on the pastor for their, going to the religious counselor for advice, for a little bit of guidance, or, praying, for example, to the secular expert. That's what they moved to. The psychologists, the psychiatrists, the doctors, forget everything that we actually, pretend that we don't actually know anything about morality. Pretend that morality doesn't exist. Let's just go with pretending God doesn't exist. And then so many of the experts, actually the Christians, many of the Christians have bought it, especially the women. And that's how you have suckers like this woman and her sucker husband raising a sucker child. That's so, seeing that, like, watch how this boy turns out, Boone, and understand, because that's not a good person to be raised up under. And she reminds me of this woman, Alyssa Milano. Remember her, the actress? And I think that I'm going to steal a clip from the Jesse Lee Peterson show, because I think Joel has it ready. Alyssa Milano, you have it? Yeah. Told Ted Cruz that she had a panic attack the morning that she was to meet him, and she's like, I have anxiety. And so, and this is normal. They like to take away the shame of having these things because they're shameless liberal women. Sounding nuts. Listen to this.
I woke up this morning with a panic attack. I have anxiety. And it wasn't about you in particular. I think for me, it was about what you represent. And that's why this meeting was so important for me. because I wanted to be able to look at you in the eye and know that you're really a human with a heartbeat.
Yeah, it was. That's why I say liberals are miserable, and then so are conservatives. Most conservatives, because they're fake. It was important to see him face to face that morning because then she could see he's human and has a heartbeat, which is so ridiculous. Maybe yeah, it was very disrespectful because they think that pro-gun people for the Second Amendment, people for the First Amendment too, are heartless, inhumane. They're the ones that dehumanize people. When you call somebody racist, that's dehumanizing. When you call somebody a Nazi, that's dehumanizing. Because then you can punch them, according to their logic. And some of the so-called conservatives' logic. Ridiculous. Projection, by the way. Alyssa's the one who was bragging about having 2 abortions in the 1990s. And then she had the nerve to tell Ted Cruz later on in that clip. She tells Ted Cruz that she's a mother and has kids. You don't happen to have that, do you? See if you have that. If you do, that's great. If not, it's fine. She says that she's a mother and has kids. And then she says, you do too, I know. Because Ted Cruz has children. That's ridiculous. Remember, she met him to push anti-gun laws, not anti-abortion laws. She's kind of lucky she's a mother. But her kids aren't. You know who else was miserable and suicidal? Oh, let's hear her talk about how she's a mother. This is horrifying.
I just want to read you something.
Okay, sure.
I do not believe in taking away the right of the citizen for sporting, for
right?
hunting, and so forth, or for home defense. But I do believe that a machine gun, an AK-47, is not a sporting weapon or needed for defense of a home. Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's blow through them. Let's blow through them all. Just to show you, because these people are not for common sense. They say common sense gun laws.
A machine gun has been functionally illegal for 80 years.
Does she say mother?
You and I, and ordinary citizens, can't purchase a machine gun. Now, a machine gun, which is what Ronald Reagan's talking about there, as you know, you hold the trigger down, multiple bullets come out. When the media covers it, I think a lot of people...
We can just cancel this. Let's forget it. You all get the point. You all get the point. But she said that she's a mother. Trust me. Maybe I'll get it for you tomorrow. She talked about how she's a mother. Ridiculous. Tomorrow being Monday, I'm live in the 4th hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson show. So, you know who else was miserable and suicidal? Chester Bennington. You know the Linkin Park singer? Some of you may not know. But Chester Bennington was the Linkin Park vocalist / singer. I say vocalist because he would scream sometimes. And that's not necessarily called singing. But tortured liberal artist, right? So-called. He was anti-Trump, as I recall. I remember seeing his Twitter. Anti-Trump, miserable. And I think that Robin Williams was a liberal too, and he committed suicide. These people are really miserable. It is kind of like a warning sign. Yeah, you may not be as extreme liberal as they are, but if we don't become like perfect, then this is what we're facing. Because this has been a long time coming. Think about the 50s, so-called most families were together, and then it came to the 60s, the sexual revolution, and then the 70s, the gay revolution, the 80s, suicide on the rise, I think, the 90s, the crack epidemic, and then the gangster rap and all that stuff, and grunge, and the mass shootings. And it's just been a long degradation of moral depravity, right? Degeneracy. People are literally degenerating. They're not functioning properly as human beings are supposed to function. You know, animals function just very naturally. They're fit and all that stuff, generally. Well, with this spoiling world that we have currently in America, and everybody's spoiled, from the so-called poor to the rich. People don't have, one, common sense, and two, they're miserable. They're not real. And I know of one guy that checked into, he's a professor, psychologist, a PhD. He counsels other people, and very popular, written books on how to live and be successful and happy. I think happy. I don't know if he was. And he has so-called struggled with depression since his teenage years. And isn't that interesting that the miserable people go into the field of psychology? The gays, the miserable people, all that stuff. And this guy has now checked into rehab because he got hooked on those psychiatry drugs for anxiety. And then he tried to get off of them because he doesn't want to be on them. He knows enough not to be on them, right? But he didn't know enough not to get on them in the first place. And so he's been kind of for that because he sees it as, okay, some people just need a crutch. And if you need the crutch to help you function better, right on, man. Do it. This person's also Canadian, right? And so he did it, and then he got hooked on it, and he had like these major withdrawal symptoms. And I think that one of the side effects to it is suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. These things like open you up to like, it like decreases your awareness so that you just keep on, just listen to the devil. Listen to the demons, the voices. You hear voices when you're on these drugs. I've never been on them. So yeah, this guy is going to rehab trying to get off of it. And the only reason that we know it is because of an oversharing person. In this case, this guy's daughter. The family is interesting. That family is interesting. Family in general is pretty interesting. So, that's why I say liberals are miserable. And this guy used to be a liberal. I think he might still be kind of liberal. This person that I talked about just now. He's an intellectual. His name, he's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show before, actually. You should check out his interview with Jesse, that Jesse had with him back in, I think, 2015 or so. His name was Jordan B. Peterson. Nice guy. Some of you are fans. Some of you really are not fans. Jesse Lee Peterson. I'll tweet it out. All right? Follow me on Twitter. I'll Discord it too. Discord. Anyway, and I'll put it in my blog post. The link of my blog post is in the YouTube description. But yeah, Jesse interviewed him a few years back when he was undergoing heavy scrutiny because he wouldn't go along with the transgender stuff. He wouldn't go along with referring to people as Z and Zer. That's for he and her. Instead of saying he and her, you refer to people according to their preferred pronouns. That means people that want to be some other gender or not a gender at all or non-binary. He didn't play along with that because he's like, sooner or later you have to have some objectivity or something like that, or truth. Anyways. Yes, I will check my DMs, Brandon Johnson. Thank you. Maze, my favorite caller out of Dayton, Ohio. How are you, Maze?
Hello, Jack.
Hey.
I'm still confused. What do you consider as good? And you keep saying good people and bad people. Could you give me some examples of things that's good? You gave me an excuse. You gave me all the things this morning. What's good? What to determine if you don't believe in liberals and conservatives and all that stuff?
Yeah.
You're watching what both sides doing.
Uh-huh. So you want to know what my definition of good is?
Yes.
Only God is good. That's in the Bible.
I didn't say who was good. I say his commandment, his law that he left on his land, on this earth, is good. So
I don't know.
If you're not following it, or nowhere near it, or his laws, or to call people evil, do you look at his laws and compare yourself to the laws that he left for people to do about it?
You're asking me that? If I look at his commandments and compare myself to his laws to see if I abide by them?
Yes.
I think I kind of do that unconsciously.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do that determine what's when you're good? I mean, when things or being good, or determines if you're evil?
Say that again. Maze, let me go back to our last conversation because you were making a better point back then.
It's asking a question to determine if a person is what they're doing.
Why are you playing? Are you playing dumb? You don't know the difference between the evil people and the half decent people?
The thing that you're calling evil has nothing to do with the law that he left here.
Yes, it does. They're evil.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, huh?
The stuff that
You're the one you don't even know that abortion is wrong.
What?
You don't even know that abortion is wrong.
What do you mean I don't know abortion is wrong? Yes, abortion is wrong, but it's not my business for somebody to
See?
take one because I am not the judge or the jury.
That's pathetic.
That's opinion.
Pathetic. Okay, so then, Maze, why should we get rid of the law against murder too?
And that's right. I don't believe in the death penalty because that's abortion too.
No,
so
I said no. You skipped my question, Maze.
What?
I said, should we get rid of the law against murder?
That's not God's law. God's it says thou shalt not kill. So
no,
that mean?
It means murder. Should we get rid of the law against murder?
That's why they can have life.
Should we get rid of the law against murder, Maze?
Yes, you should.
Wow. See, lame. Maze
let's get back to the point.
Maze is anti-God's law. You're not even for God's law.
Excuse me?
You're not even for God's law. Because the Bible says, hold on, the Bible says that the person who runs the government wields the sword not for nothing, but to administer like God's law and his law, right?
The Bible says man wrote his law, he left him, where did he leave it? He didn't leave it in the Bible.
I don't know. Where did he leave it, Mace? Where did he leave it?
Let's get it right.
He left it in our hearts.
Well, really?
Yes, he said that.
So your law just
you don't believe where it says that he's going to write his law in our hearts?
Well, you don't carry nothing of his.
No. Tell me if you believe that. I want to know if you believe that. You believe that God wrote his law in our hearts?
No, God put his law. You got to. How he could?
You think that he put it? You think he only put it on the stone, not in our hearts?
If you don't see the stone, how can you know what the law is?
Because the Bible even clearly explains this one too. Because people who don't have hold on. Let me explain this one. Because people that don't have the law are following the law in their hearts that God put in there. That's in the Bible too. It's a fact.
It's like when he said keep the Sabbath and let no man change it. Man has changed everything that has been put in his law.
That's a red herring. That's a red herring. You're changing the subject.
And he even talks
You're
about
changing
love.
the subject, Maze.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are, because you denied that God put his law in the hearts. You're saying that they have to look at the 10 Commandments, the stone.
No.
Yes.
That's where it came from. You talking about putting the heart from?
No, it came from God. It didn't come from the stone, Maze.
Who put his law in the Bible?
He put it in the hearts, not in the Bible.
God said he came down and dropped the Bible in your hand?
No, he put it in the hearts. He put it in the hearts, Maze.
You don't follow the laws that we have. Excuse me? That's why I'm questioning what do you consider as good.
That's a dumb question. So let me get back to... Yes, it is.
If you compare what's good to who's
No. It's a dumb question. Dumb. It's dumb. Let me get to the good point that you made, because you made a good point on Friday or whenever you called. You were talking about the whites who are talking about the blacks when the whites are doing the same thing or they're imperfect themselves, and that is actually in the Bible, where you should check yourself too. You should check yourself first and then address the other people. But that doesn't mean that you don't call out evil. You just seem to want.
You call out evil.
This is my take on you, though. This is my take on you. Yes, the whites need to check themselves because we are very corrupt, right? But you seem to use that to protect the blacks from any criticism from the whites.
No.
Yes.
Listen, you didn't understand what I said. I said blacks do, but you always talking about what Caucasians do. I said blacks been on drugs. Mm-hmm. Caucasians are on drugs.
I've said that. You've heard me say that. You've heard me say that.
And I asked you.
Have you heard? Hold on, Mace. Have you heard me say that whites are on drugs and dying of blah blah blah?
Yes.
Yeah. See? And actually, this person that is in by the way, I wanted to say a joke about this guy that went on to rehab, and I mean no offense to him, but this guy Jordan B. Peterson checked into rehab. He white. Because, a lot of whites are getting on these things, and it's rough. You're just not tough enough to deal with drugs messing with the brain and the mind and the consciousness. And it was a mess.
Finish?
Yeah, go.
Can I finish that and make my point? What I was saying. You steal. I said black people steal. You steal, but you don't talk about.
I don't steal.
That you do. You want to talk about the stealing that your people do. I put
Here,
it that way.
here,
you don't
Maze.
talk about the stealing. They do steal.
This is my thing. This is my thing about you guys. This is my thing about you guys that are always criticizing Jesse.
No, I don't.
No, here.
Jesse.
Yes, you do. Hold on. Let me make the point. You guys are always. What are you doing? You pretend not to know that blacks are doing it way more than whites.
Excuse me?
Stealing, that's a way more of a black thing than it is a white thing. Way more.
That's in your psyche.
It's in reality.
You don't know who's doing what.
It's in my psyche and reality.
Who's keeping the records of who's doing what?
It doesn't matter. Everybody knows this. You don't even have to. You didn't even have to check the records. But yes, the FBI. The FBI is keeping the records. You don't believe the FBI?
No.
Me neither, because they're liberals. But I don't have to look at the FBI to know that black people steal.
Thank you.
Everybody has the common experience of being stolen, having something stolen by black people. Anybody who has lived around blacks has had something stolen by blacks.
No.
Yes.
Except what
we don't need the FBI to tell us the truth, but the truth, even the FBI, let's say the FBI is liberal, they try to hide the truth, but the FBI can't even hide this one because this one is too big. All right, Mace, gotta go.
I'm saying, James, if you look at, I have to check yourself before you try to check other people when you are doing the same thing, but you're ignoring it and you're in denial.
No.
So if you're in denial about something, you say,
no. That's you. You're in denial about the blacks. You're trying to protect. You're like the black people's mother that says he didn't do that. He's a good boy.
No. I know it like this, James. You see, one kid will commit a crime.
I gotta go.
His record will get expunged. One commit a crime and he'll go.
The way that you get your record expunged, Mace, the way that you get your record expunged is years later. You have to wait years, and you have to follow the rules. No. And the blacks don't want to follow the rules, so they never get it expunged. And in fact, they're not even charged with all the crimes they commit. They get away with way more than they commit. They get away with way more crimes than they commit. All people do. Yes, it's true.
Go back.
It's a fact.
The kids did stuff in their younger years. They should have been in jail like the other kids, but they weren't put in jail.
Right.
Their lives were destroyed. And then the other ones came into business and still stealing and doing the same thing.
So are you jealous? Are you jealous that white people supposedly get away with crime because they do it? They smoke behind closed doors.
The law let them get away with it.
All right, gotta go, Mace.
Just like these ladies that's going to jail for 30 days, and those people in Atlanta, those teachers that did whatever they did with the test, but they're gonna get 30 days in prison.
Who cares? I don't care about fair.
You care.
I don't care.
Who care? But it matters.
No, it doesn't matter. No, that doesn't matter. So you're jealous. You're jealous that
jealous.
Yes, you are. You're jealous of the white people that got. So she's talking about the rich. Okay, she changed the subject. She changed the subject, right? She's talking about these rich white people bribed their children into college, which they shouldn't even be going to college, right? And then hold on, Mace. Hold on. Shh.
Okay, I'm holding.
And then there's some black parents that also commit fraud to, I don't know, get into some school, pretend they're in some district and they're not. I don't know what they did, but then they went to jail for a longer time or something like that, right? So she's saying, the white people did it and they got off easy. The black people, the rich white people, poor black people did it, and then blah 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 blah.
Too
bad. That's your fault for being poor.
No.
Yes.
You ignoring whose fault for being poor. It's your fault for being poor.
No. It's the black people's fault for being poor.
No, it's not the black people for being poor.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is their fault for being poor.
You got poor white people.
No. It's white people's fault for being poor if they're poor too.
Well, yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That in your brain.
I said that already. You're not making a point that I don't know and that I don't say all the time.
I don't have anything to be jealous of.
All right. Then how come you don't agree with Jesse?
Well, I don't have to agree with Jesse. What do you mean? You don't agree with
Because if you're not jealous, then you would agree with Jesse. I gotta go.
Do you agree with Bible go-to guy?
Of course. But I gotta go, Mace.
No, I have a brain. I don't need to agree with Jesse.
Brain power.
That's your problem. When you think all of us got to agree with one person, don't. We can think for ourselves.
Yep.
When you think for yourself, you don't need anybody to come along and tell you what to do and follow them.
I've stopped listening. I'm sorry, Mace.
I said when you
I got Maze overload. No. It wasn't an invitation to repeat what you said.
And I don't have to
I gotta go, Maze. Take care.
Okay.
All right.
I don't have to follow Jesse.
All right. You don't have to. That's right.
That's not me.
Because you're your own woman.
So you found the law, and you
all right.
follow
Goodbye,
it, and
Mace.
prepared to.
Goodbye.
Have a good one.
You too. Joe Roberts says, "You're just being angry, Hake. I'm pretty certain this is a waste of time." Might be. I like to hear her say, "You have a good day." Let me quickly get to this. Justin Trudeau. I don't think I have anything else on this, but Justin Trudeau, if you want to show his different get-ups, you can. They're in a prior one. It might even be labeled in the folders. I don't remember exactly what day it was, but Joelle is going to find the pictures. I don't know if you would find it. If you can, great. Okay. So Justin Trudeau, as you all know, is the so-called Prime Minister of Canada. Am I correct? It's not president, it's Prime Minister. So, whatever the difference that is, who cares, right? So, there's all these liberals doing hit pieces. I'm just going to drag it into... I found the folder, Joelle. Okay. I'm copying it into the Sunday folder. Right. Justin Trudeau, blackface. So the Washington Post, basically, he dressed up, and now he's in trouble because you're not supposed to dress up as black or as a POC, a person of color, and it's so dumb. So I read parts of this liberal Washington Post, which is owned by the same guy who owns Amazon, Jeff Bezos, far left liberal Trump hater wannabe, kiss up to women type stuff, via Stamford Advocate. Molly Roberts is this liberal woman, apparently, who writes in this opinion piece, Justin Trudeau says his privilege made him do it. I don't think I got any screenshots of this article, but here's pictures of Justin Trudeau dressing up and all that stuff. One of them, he dressed up as... Oh, no, I'll read the article because the article lists exactly what it says. So here, she quotes Justin Trudeau as saying, "I came from a place of privilege." By the way, guys, in like a minute, get ready to click the chest because I'm going to try to open the chest on D Live. "I came from a place of privilege, but I have to acknowledge that comes with a massive blind spot," Trudeau told reporters in the latest of his multiple apologies for his multiple so-called mistakes, which they're not mistakes. "The fact of the matter is, I've always, and you'll know this, been more enthusiastic about costumes than is sometimes appropriate." And that's all these are. And then here's what Molly Roberts says. "Yet the trouble with Trudeau's comment comes not only from casting modern-day minstrelsy." I found the word finally. When I was calling these people, old-time clowns dressing up as black, minstrels. Minstrel shows, minstrelsy. So she's calling it modern-day minstrelsy. And it's supposed to indicate that it's racist or something stupid. So as just another costume, which it is just another costume. "No, the trouble comes from the concept that enthusiasm is an excuse, as if Trudeau were a small child who simply could not help himself from dressing up in Jamaican garb." There he is, in the Jamaican garb. And singing the Banana Boat song, "Day-o," by that liberal guy. Or dressing up as a turbaned character from Aladdin for an Arabian Nights party in 2001. There he is, dressed up as Aladdin. He looks like a blackened version of Aladdin too. Anyways, or dressing up as whatever on earth he's supposed to look like in the most recently released dark makeup video because gosh, it was so fun. And so this was a video from Global News. I don't have the video to play, but there's a screenshot from it. He's dressed up as real dark, sticking out his tongue, making faces. And so 3 times, once in 2001, once in the 90s, at a high school talent show. That's when he's singing Day-o. And then 2001, he's at some, college thing or whatever. I don't know. And then that other one, we don't know when or where that was taken, but it's him, according to the people, the media. So she says, listen to this. This is that favorite white-hating stuff. Justin Trudeau, this sounds like Maze, actually. Justin Trudeau sounds a bit like the adult version of the notorious affluenza teen who drunkenly drove a Ford F-350, that's a big truck, into more than 14 people and killed 4, then had a psychologist testify that his permissive upbringing, meaning he was spoiled, in a world of wealth, meaning he was a rich kid, had left him ignorant to the ramifications of his actions, meaning he didn't realize there was consequences to getting drunk and driving. And then she she mockingly says, "You see, Your Honor, he was never told no." And then she says, but the tragic thing is that Trudeau isn't wrong when he says that he came from a place of privilege. Because she's mad at Justin Trudeau because he's all, I came from a place of privilege and I didn't know better, basically is what he's saying. And she's mad at him for using that as an excuse for dressing up in blackface as if there's anything wrong with it, which there isn't. She says, here's what she says. Trudeau, as if it's like self-explanatory. Trudeau says that he didn't understand how hurtful this is to people who live with discrimination every single day. That's a direct Trudeau quote. Didn't understand how hurtful this is to people who live with discrimination every single day. Dressing up as black hurts people who live with discrimination. Everybody lives with discrimination because he doesn't live with discrimination every day, but he does. It's a cop-out on one level, she says, but on another, his words underscore a precept of responsible identity politicking, meaning she's for this whole notion of, and she quotes this line, check your privilege. And then she's embarrassed to repeat that line because she calls it the exhortation turned cliche, meaning meaningless phrase that's repeated all the time. As the exhortation turned cliche goes, it means acknowledge your advantages, both how they've helped you and how they limit when it comes to understanding others' less charmed lives. So she's basically kissing up to the blacks and the Arabians, Arabs, whatever, and to the guy that's saying Deo. Yeah, he's had a very unprivileged life, right? Harry Belafonte, very privileged. Anybody who lives in America is very privileged, right? Anyways, that's that. She's dumb. So is he for apologizing. And I defend the right to blackface and saying the N-word, but probably shouldn't do either one. And this racism accusation is so dumb and tired and it's nonsensical. It's nonsensical how this should be insulting to anybody. It really is. All right, guys. That's that. Go to rebuildingtheman.com/church for Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Bond Rebuilding the Man on YouTube. And thank you guys for the support. We have that Bond Moving Fund. We're in the last, 8 days or so of the matching donations. So if you support, please do, and note that it's for the Bond Building Fund. We are going to have to move out at the end of the year, according to the landlord. So we're going to find a better place, bigger, better, and more productive. All right, guys, take care.